Alright everybody, welcome back to the C# tutorial series. The last video that we did, we took a look at sorting an array based on just swapping numbers. So, C# actually has a much simpler way of sorting arrays. And we're going to write a program right now that's going to take advantage of that. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create our new project. So let's do that. File, New Project. And then we're going to do a Windows, Empty Project, and we're going to call this Sort Array. Okay, once the project has configured, we're going to right-click on here, right-click on the Sort Array project, and add a new item, add a code file, and this code file is going to be called sortarray.cs, and I'm going to select Add. So then once we get to the source file, the first thing that we're going to do is begin writing the program. So we'll be using system, and we're going to declare the class of sortArray, and within here, let's declare the main function, public static main, and open and close it. Perfect. Whoops, I'm sorry, public static void main. Perfect. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to kind of follow the previous method example, and we're going to create an instance of the random class. So we'll do random, and we'll call it RC, and this is going to equal a new random instance. After this, I'm going to declare the maximum size of the array. So I'm going to call this max. And I'm going to make this equal to rc.next. So I'm going to make the maximum amount of the array a random number, and I'm going to give this a parameter. I want this to be between 0 and 1000. I'm sorry, 0 and 1000. So my array size is going to be between size 0 and 1000. After this, we'll declare the integer array, int test array equals new int array. And this is going to be of size max. So then once we've declared this, let's create a for loop, and then we'll make an instance of I equals 0 while I is less than max, I++. Open and close the for loop, and just to test everything, and I'm sorry I missed a semicolon here, so it's a semicolon space right there. So there's the for loop. We're going to test everything, and we're going to do console dot. And I'm going to just do a console write, and then we're going to do, let's see here, test array of I. Now I don't know if we've discussed what the write function is, but if I do control F5, I come up with some errors. So let me find what these errors are real fast. And it appears that I forgot my semicolon up here in the way beginning. Okay, so, in the way beginning. So let's try this again, control F5, and it compiles fine. But look how it concatenates everything right up against it like that. So if I had a write line, it would actually make a line for each one, but write concatenates everything next to each other. So that's just another way that we can write it. Now the reason it's printing out all zeros is because our array doesn't equal anything. So at least we know that we're able to print it out. So why don't we make it equal something? We'll do test array of I equals RC, make it a random number, dot next. So now we're going to have an array full of random numbers. And to practice using our methods, let's declare a public static void print array, and we're going to send this method two parameters, the first one being the array itself. So we're going to do int, and then we're going to do the array brackets, and then I'm going to call the array A inside of this function, inside of this method, and we're also going to send it int max. So the maximum number is going to come down here as well. So we're going to do, let's see, 4, and let me just break these up like that. 4 int I equals 0 while I is less than max I++. So it's going to go through the array max amount of times, and I'm going to do console dot write, and then in parentheses I'm going to do A and instance of I. So I'm going to print this, but what it's going to do is, since we're using the write function, it's going to concatenate them all right next to each other. So let's take a look at how that is, how that looks. Oh, actually I apologize, I never actually invoked the function. Okay, so after we load the function, then we're going to do print array, and we're going to send this to two parameters. So it's going to be test array, comma, max. Okay, great. So now test array is going to come down here and be used within that, and so is max. So we'll do Control F5, and then there's my pile of garbage right there. Close the output window and plus \n, and if you do that, you're doing the equivalent of write line. So if I do Control F5, everything's going to print in its own line. So we have all of these numbers right here. So I'm going to close this. Great. So it would be kind of a pain to sort all those numbers with the method that we used before, but fortunately there is a function inside of C# that's built in that we can use. Now our function that we wrote before would actually be able to sort these, and if you'd like to, copy and paste that method and put it in here, and then we could just test it to see if it works. But we're not even going to do that. Right above the print array here, I'm going to invoke the array class, and I'm going to use the built-in sort function. Now inside this, all I have to do is pass it test array, and the array is going to sort. So if I do Control F5, I get a brilliantly sorted array. So I can scroll up to see that I do go from lowest to highest.